Management of our accounting system was done by ourselves mostly. Like we were managing it by ourselves. So to make sure, like we had small resources, so that we could just like it was easy to ask for us to go through like all the managerial of accounting systems and like bookkeeping, because we're not doing so much of transactions or managing like huge resources. So it was working for us like fine. I would say I wouldn't have done it differently, but from the stage or to the stage where we were, it was right decision at the moment. But like on the stage we are now, we are actually in need of like someone who is an expert in accounting to make sure like he understands the whole concept of accounting systems, because what we're doing was more of basics. Now we have to produce like a monthly report of accounting system, like all those components and concept of accounting has to be put in place. So now actually like we are kind of in the need of an expert in those systems, so that which can help us. How we use the accounting system and the finances on our daily operations is first like for any companies you have to make sure like you create transparency in terms of money, because otherwise then there is so much problem going on you. So what we use actually for when it comes to the accounting system and finances on our operation activities, we need to make sure everything we paid we get a receipt, and then it is like somewhere written on our cash flow, our income statement. If there is any money we receive, we have to make note of it in our accounting system, and there is any transaction or any movement of money, we have to make sure we keep it so in record, so that at the end of the year we can declare first, like in terms of taxation, also in terms of our financial annual report. So we know actually like what kind of working capital we need, and if it needs to be like fundraising, then we put it in place strategies. And also if there is like, if you are broke, we don't have money, then we know it, so it actually helps. On this accounting concept, I would say like the mistake we made was to, instead of creating a bank account, we created a joint account for individuals, and then one person actually had an overall access to the finances without even a signatory of another. And we found out like he was moving money without like the knowledge of the whole managerial system, and I think that was like a big mistake, which actually, if you want to make sure like there is a transparency and your money is protected, you need to make sure like there's so many signatories on your bank account, so that you know the management of your resources is like well kept. Our legal structure is we are a company that's incorporated in Rwanda as a company limited by shares. And the reason why we chose that was the advice we got from Rwanda Development Board. Like when we wanted to register the company, we approached them and we told them like what we want to do, and then they advised us the best legal structure we should go for, and then we chose like to register as a company limited by shares. But the procedures of registration of the company, we did it by ourselves. Like in Rwanda, it is very easy. Rwanda Development Board has made it easier for everyone, like entrepreneurs who want to start a company. So you can access information online, and also registration is done online. So what you have to do is just to go in the procedures, and it shows you like exactly what information you have to fill in, how you have to go about it, and it even takes a short time to get your certificate. Like approximately 24 hours, you are already a registered company. The most difficult procedures during our registration was in terms of shares. Like if you register a company, you have to make sure all the shares are entitled to someone or to some institution. So we need to make sure like all shares are divided like equally. And then by the time we wanted to register, we were like a very small business, and then we haven't quantified like what in terms of what is the value of your shares, and how do we divide the shares. So we're doing it just for the sake of making sure all shares are entitled to everyone. And what I would recommend for person who wants to register is to make sure like you understand exactly before you register the shares and the value of your shares, and how many shares you have to give someone or yourself. If you are like a co-founded, if your company is co-founded, make sure like each person get the shares depending on the value of those shares. The tools we basically use in our management is it's like we have different tools for different purposes. We use SWOT analysis to analyze ourselves like internally, and to position ourselves in terms of competitors, so we know our strengths, our weaknesses, and then our competitive advantages. So, and also we use the petty cash in terms of like management of cash, the liquid cash we have, so that any money we keep a transaction, even if it is cash. And also we use Slack as a channel of communication for check-ins, check-out for the workers, to know day-to-day activities of everyone and how he's feeling. And I feel like those are like actually the tools that help us in our management and make sure each person knows exactly what to do and how to go about it, and like to keep in contact with each other. Administration and the accounting management, the most important thing is to make sure you have a transparency and accountability in your system. So you have to lay down the foundation and structure that allows you to make sure you keep the track on all the transactions, every month that is in a movement, incoming, outgoing, so you know exactly how it's going, what is going to do. And then now that helps you in terms of accountability of each person. And even if I know some person has money or is managing the money of the organization, I can make sure there is that sense of transparency in the system, and that's helps you. The error you shouldn't make is to not have a financial system in your organization that allows the accountability of person who is holding your finances. So you need to make sure you understand your finances, and a person who is in charge of finances, you can actually interpret it by your own perspective on administrative point of view.